After the company's IPO ceremony, I sat in the VIP section, waiting to take Clara to meet my parents. However, a male employee told me to wait for her in the conference room. But when I arrived at the conference room, I was suddenly grabbed by security guards, who tied my hands and held me down in a chair. The male employee who had been fawning over me just moments before suddenly pulled out his phone and started filming my face. While recording, he said, "Everyone, look. Today we finally caught this two-timing homewrecker." What homewrecker? I was completely confused. Before I could even ask a question, the male employee slapped me across the face and said, "You disgusting man, who sexually harasses our beautiful CEO. Just because you're handsome doesn't mean you can get away with it. Let me teach you a lesson today." My head was buzzing from the blow. He grabbed my hair and shook my head. "Tell me, will you dare to sexually harass our beautiful CEO, Clara, ever again?" I finally realized what was going on and struggled to explain. "I'm not a homewrecker. I'm Clara's boyfriend." Boyfriend? Our beautiful CEO is very self-disciplined and has never had any scandals. And she certainly doesn't have a boyfriend. I struggled to open my eyes and saw the live comments flashing across the screen. Zach and the beautiful CEO are a perfect couple. The beautiful CEO hasn't accepted her own heart yet, but I'm sure she'll soon fall at Zach's feet. Waiting for the two to get back together. "Zach, you can't forgive her so easily. Make her sing 'Conquer' on her knees." Seeing this, I realized who this person was. He was Zach, the male secretary who had joined my company 3 months ago. He frequently tried to win over Clara and had even written some lewd stories online. He had even said that once he got with Clara, the Chew group would be his, and he'd often try to interrupt my dates with her. Clara wanted to fire him, but I asked her not to, since he was fresh out of college and it would be hard to find a job. So I just transferred him to another position. Now it seemed that my moment of sympathy had caused me great trouble. I couldn't help but be angry. "You're the homewrecker. Let me go. What you're doing is illegal." Slap. Before I could finish, Zach gave me another hard slap, a smug look on his face. "You white-faced gigolos, you need to be beaten to know your place." After saying that, he shouted into his phone, "Everyone, witness this historical moment as we beat up this gigolo. Give it a heart and I'll slap him. Send a gift and I'll kick him. If I get a plane or cruise, I'll just castrate him." Hearing him becoming more and more gruesome, I quickly said, "Call Clara here. I'm really her boyfriend." Zach scoffed. "A beautiful woman like Clara would never be with a gigolo like you. Only a strong man with explosive hormones like me would be worthy of her." Seeing that he was unwilling to listen, I couldn't help but shout, "Do you understand what I'm saying? I said that I'm Clara's boyfriend. My family doesn't agree with me being with her. That's why we kept our relationship a secret." Although Clara was beautiful and capable, compared to my family's global business empire, she was still too small. That's why my family had always disliked her. They thought she was a gold digger and was just with me for my money. Later, to prove that she wasn't just a pretty face who spent my money, I opened a company for her to manage. I was planning on taking her to meet my parents and get engaged once the company went public. So, strictly speaking, not only was Clara mine, even the publicly traded company was under my name. But they didn't believe me. Zach laughed. "You're such a bullshitter. A person like Clara, whose family would be begging her to get with her, why wouldn't they like her?" The security guards flattered him. "Zach, I think it's impossible for Mississippi Clara to be with a man like him. I thought that you and Mississippi Clara were a perfect match when I joined the company yesterday." Zach had a smug look on his face. "Of course. You, go and stuff that janitor rag into his mouth. I don't want to hear him say another word." I struggled desperately, facing the dirty rag. I wanted to throw up, but they still managed to pry my mouth open and stuff it in. I couldn't speak. I could only moan, hoping that someone would notice this violence. "Now there are 20 hearts and 2 roses." Zach's evil voice rang in my ear. The next second, a storm of slaps rained down on my face. I was beaten until my head was spinning, and my face was numb from the pain. This was the first time anyone dared to hit me in the face. I was so angry I could spit blood. Suddenly, I heard him scream with excitement, "Thank you for the cruise." Then, without any hesitation, he kicked me in the stomach. I fell to the ground, chair and all. The intense pain made my vision go white. But Zach was acting like he was watching a comedy. He pulled me up and shoved my face in front of the camera. I saw comments praising him for beating me up. The more comments he saw praising him, the more excited he became. He pulled out a stick the size of my arm and waved it in front of my face. "You dare to glare at me? I think you don't want this leg anymore." With that, he raised the stick and slammed it on my calf. The intense pain made my head go blank. But Zach laughed triumphantly. "What good is being handsome when you become a cripple? No woman will want you then." The comments also started praising him. "Go, Zach. You're a real man. You have to humiliate the homewreckers to teach them a lesson." Even so, Zach still wasn't satisfied. He ordered one of the security guards, who was standing by and enjoying the scene, "Go and get me some pliers." The security guard was confused. "What do you want pliers for?" Zach stepped on my hand. "I saw this man holding our beautiful CEO last time. I'm going to break his fingers today. Then he won't be able to take advantage of anyone." The security guard rushed out and came back with the biggest pliers. By now I was in a daze. The sharp pain suddenly coming from my fingers made me shake violently. I opened my eyes. I saw Zach like a devil. He was not only mangling my fingers, but he was pulling out my fingernails. He picked up the bloody nail clippings and waved them in front of my face. He pulled the rag from my mouth. He said triumphantly, "Will you dare to get close to our beautiful CEO, Clara, ever again?" I knew he wanted to see me cry and beg for mercy, but I refused. Clara was my girlfriend. After a moment, I spat at his face and sneered, "You wait, you scum. I will make sure both of you spend the rest of your life in prison." Zach was instantly enraged. He stomped on my bloody fingers and said, "My brother is a lawyer. You think you can put me in jail?" Then, he started to rip off my clothes in front of the live stream. The comments exploded. It seemed as if no one realized that what Zach was doing was illegal. In their minds, as long as you were labeled as a homewrecker or gigolo, then it was all right to do anything to them. I was filled with sorrow. When Zach saw my abs, a hint of jealousy appeared on his face. His expression became even more twisted. "You gigolos only know how to please women. I'm going to destroy you today. See how you can use this to lure in rich women." He took out a pair of scissors and started making cuts on my skin. I shivered in pain. My body became cold. But he proudly took pictures, saying, "I'm going to post this to the group, so everyone can see what happens to gigolos who are also homewreckers." While he was busy with his phone, I ignored the pain and twisted my wrist, finally breaking free from the ropes. Filled with anger, I grabbed the pliers and lunged towards him. But the security guard was quick and threw me to the ground. When Zach saw that I dared to resist, he grabbed the toilet cleaner from the cleaning cart and poured it on my face. I felt a burning pain. The liquid went into my eyes. My vision was blurred, and I felt like I was going to stop breathing. But he ordered the security guards to tie me onto the cart. He was still saying viciously, "I'm going to push you in front of the beautiful CEO, so she can see what you really are." They discussed what they would do to humiliate me for a long time. I heard Zach say, "Just pushing him out isn't enough. Go get me a piece of cardboard. I'm going to write gigolos who are homewreckers should die on it, so that everyone in the building can see what these gigolos end up like, and that way they will be afraid to take my Clara." The security guard rushed out, but this time, he didn't come back for a long time. Zach started cursing, "I worked so hard to get him into this company. Why is he so slow?" Before he could finish, the security guard came rushing in, his face pale. "Zach, something bad happened. Clara said that her fiancé is missing, and a bunch of police have arrived and are searching the place." He looked at me, who was close to passing out, and said shakily, Do you think this man might really be Clara's boyfriend?" Zach scoffed. "Impossible. He didn't say that he was Clara's fiancé. Maybe he's someone she's going to have an arranged marriage with. That's how it's written in novels, isn't it? Strong women are forced into an arranged marriage with rich men for the sake of their career. But they all have their own ways of having fun. Zach waved his hand confidently. Whether he's a gigolo or a rich man, neither of them can enter our Ice Queen CEO's heart. Only I can warm her cold heart. The security guard relaxed. You're right. Then, they used the toilet paper in the conference room to wrap around my neck. Using a black marker, they wrote gigolo and homewrecker. I was powerless to stop them from pushing me out. The conference room door opened. Maybe because they had all been called in for questioning by the police. There wasn't a soul in the hallway. Just then, a new employee rushed over. He was stunned when he saw me tied up. What happened here? Zach immediately made up the story about me being a homewrecker and adding in his own details. Seeing that he was so sure, the new employee slapped me twice, yelling shameless. Then, Zach proudly took out his phone again, saying, I've already called my viewers to come and witness how we punish this gigolo. They started pushing me through the building, announcing that I was a homewrecker, a pervert. It wasn't long before a crowd of indignant people followed us. They took turns hitting me, writing humiliating words on my body. I was numb. My eyes were blurry. My skin was in agony. My throat was hoarse, and I couldn't speak. Seeing my beaten state, Zach became even more arrogant. He went to Clara's office and knocked on her door. Clara walked out with a concerned face. When she saw the crowd, she frowned. What are you all doing here? Zach said smugly, CO Chu, we've caught a pervert, and we're making him walk through the streets to shame him. With that, the crowd stepped aside. Zach pushed the heavily injured me at Clara's feet. He said righteously, This man is shameless. He dared to lie about being your boyfriend. He's ruining the company's reputation and your honor. This kind of person who is trying to taint you has no right to live in this world. He took a pair of scissors from a fan. He crouched down, grabbed my neck. Making sure that my bruised face was visible to Clara, he said, Homewreckers should die, while pointing the scissors at my groin. When Clara saw my face, her red lips turned white, and her hands were shaking. Zach was lost in his thoughts about beating up a homewrecker and didn't notice Clara's face. He was so excited at the thought that I would lose my manhood. He pointed the scissors at my groin. But, the next second, Clara's slender hand covered me. Zach couldn't react in time, and the scissors deeply pierced Clara's hand. Her assistant screamed and called the police. Zach finally reacted. He loosened his grip, and the scissors fell to the ground. And I was protected by Clara and wasn't hurt. Seeing Clara so anxious about me, Zach's face turned ugly. CO Chu, don't be fooled by him. He's just a useless gigolo, and he's a serial homewrecker. He has a lot of rich women who give him money. You can ask them. The fans, who had rushed from the live stream, agreed. Yeah, he's a homewrecker. We heard he has been with a bunch of rich women for money. His manhood should be destroyed, so he can't take advantage of women. We helped you punish this homewrecker. Your company has to treat us to dinner. Shut up. Clara, her red lips trembling in anger, her eyes full of heartbroken tears, cut through the noise. She wiped the blood from my face and said coldly, What you did to my fiancé is illegal. She turned to her assistant. Lock down the building. Don't let anyone leave until the police come. Then she ordered her assistant to call a private helicopter to bring their medical team to treat me. And she completely ignored her own injuries. Seeing how chaotic the scene was, her assistant went to call the police, who were still searching for me. An officer showed his badge, and after understanding the situation, he said to them, You have committed intentional assault. Please come with me to the police station. The security guard turned pale and kept stepping back. I didn't know anything. Zach told me to do it. It was all Zach. The fans, who had rushed to the scene from the live stream, were all confused. What happened? Zach said that he was the CEO's boyfriend. Yeah, he posts a lot of sweet updates about his relationship with the CEO. But now, a fiancé appeared? Maybe Zach was the homewrecker. Why did he try to hurt the real fiancé? What homewrecker? I don't think CEO Chu even knows Zach. We've been deceived by this man. Officer, this has nothing to do with us. When they saw the police getting involved, they all panicked and started to blame Zach. Zach covered his head and screamed. His eyes were fixed on Clara, who was wiping the blood from my face. How can this be? You are such a capable woman. How could you fall for a gigolo like him? Clara turned and faced him, her voice gentle and firm. Gavin is my fiancé. We have been in love for 8 years. He also has his own business. He is not a gigolo. Who are you? Why would you hurt my fiancé? When the crowd heard Clara's words, they were in an uproar. They've been in love for 8 years. How dare Zach claim that he was in a relationship with the CEO? Zach is the homewrecker. He just didn't get chosen. Zach was still lost in his own fabricated fantasy. He rushed at Clara, but was stopped by her assistant. He was still yelling, "No, this can't be. You can't like him. You should like me. You are a cold woman who wants love. Only a warm man like me can be worthy of you. You should let me warm you and fall in love with me." Clara waved her hand, telling her assistant to pull him away, afraid that he might hurt me again. She frowned and said, "What are you talking about? I'm not lacking love, and I certainly don't need a lunatic like you to warm me." Zach clenched his fists and said through gritted teeth, "If you weren't warmed by me, then why have you been smiling more? Did my messages not move you?" Clara frowned. "I've been smiling more because my company is about to go public. It has nothing to do with your annoying messages." Zach said unwillingly, "You told me to work hard. Isn't that because you like me?" Clara took a deep breath. "You were using your phone at work. It's normal for me to remind you to focus." Zach stuttered. He couldn't think of anything to say. He finally broke down. "Why? Why don't you like me? You should be with me. That's how it's written in the novels." By then, the medical team had arrived. Because I had been splashed with the corrosive liquid, they started with immediate first aid, especially for my eyes. Then they put me on a stretcher to transport me to the hospital via helicopter. During that entire time, Clara had been by my side. Afraid of hurting me, she was only gently holding my pinky finger. Feeling the warmth coming from her, I felt a lot better. The tension left my body, and I fell asleep. When I opened my eyes, I could smell disinfectant. My vision was dark. I panicked and lifted my hand. I was met with a warm hand holding mine. Clara's soft and pained voice said, "Don't be afraid. The doctor said your eyes have been treated. You will need to wear bandages for a few days. You'll be able to see after they're removed." I sighed with relief. When I thought of what had happened, I felt angry. Did they catch them all? Clara soothed me. They all got caught. I've hired the best criminal lawyer. Zach and all of those people who were in the live stream, egging him on, have all been brought in by the police. Zach and the rest of the main culprits have been arrested. Hearing that those demons were captured, I finally relaxed and held Clara tightly. Clara comforted me softly. "Don't be afraid. I'll always be by your side." While she was comforting me, a loud noise came from outside. Clara looked outside. "What's going on? This is a VIP room. Why is it so noisy?" Suddenly, the door burst open. A voice said, "Please, let my son go. He's only 22. He can't go to jail. It will ruin his life." Another voice said, "You rich people are always bullying the poor. I'm telling you, you need to write a letter of forgiveness right now. Otherwise, I will tell my son to expose all of you online." "Who are they?" I frowned, worried that I would run into another lunatic like Zach. Clara patted my back and said to them, "Your son did this to my fiancé. I will never forgive him." Then, she ordered the guards to get rid of them. A week later, my eyes had mostly healed. The first thing I did when the bandages were removed was to look in the mirror. With trepidation, I limped to the mirror. I couldn't believe that the person in the mirror was me. The man had burns all over his skin. His hair was patchy, and his exposed skin was all scarred. Even though I had been preparing myself for this, I still punched the mirror. Those scum, they made my handsome face look like this. Clara, who had been watching my mood closely, gently comforted me. "It's okay. It can be fixed. I've already contacted the best doctors. Once your eyes are completely healed, we can get the procedures done." "Can it really be fixed?" I touched my bumpy skin. My heart ached. I suddenly remembered that if Clara hadn't been there to protect me, then I would have not only been disfigured, but also castrated. "Is your hand okay?" I asked. Clara laughed and hugged me. "It's okay. It's just a small injury." When I held her, I didn't feel so sad anymore. My family had been visiting the hospital, yelling at me for getting beaten up. Even Clara got scolded for a few times. She had been so well behaved at the hospital. Once they were gone, she would hug me and say that she was traumatized and needed compensation. I thought that she would be disgusted by my disfigured appearance, but she didn't care. She would kiss me, and every night, she wouldn't leave me alone. My heart, which had become so sensitive after being disfigured, was gradually healed by her. But I never thought that a video of us being intimate would be leaked online. In the video, I had messy hair, and my face was covered in red burns. My leg was still in a cast. I was pale and disheveled. And Clara, who was holding me, was so beautiful and elegant. Her big cat-like eyes looked like spring water, and her model-like figure was captivating. There was a lot of abuse posted under the video. "What's this frog with the swan? It's too ugly. Does this beautiful woman have a thing for ugly men?" I heard that this man was a homewrecker and that he got beaten up after the main wife caught him. In my opinion, this is how homewreckers should be punished. Is this the kind of guy who's a homewrecker nowadays? In that short video, there were thousands of comments insulting me. Even though they didn't know the full story, they were so quick to judge, and they were even insulting my family. I started shaking in anger. I immediately called my family's network engineers. I sent them the video and told them to find out who posted it. They found out quickly. It was a man named Alex Young. As soon as I heard the surname, I guessed that he was Zach's brother. Just then, Clara walked in holding a verdict. She said, smiling, "Zach got his verdict. For intentional assault and false imprisonment, he got 10 years in jail. And those who were egging him on also got one of 5 years in prison." I showed her the video. Clara's bright smile disappeared. She took my phone, exited the page, and said, "It's okay. I'll get rid of all of the false news online." But I shook my head and said, "Blocking is never a solution. Besides, this has already affected the company's stock price. I need to say something to everyone, otherwise the rumors will only get bigger, and it will be harder to dispel them." Clara looked at me, worried. "I know, but I'm worried." As a businesswoman, she understood. But she didn't want me to put myself out there now. But she forgot that I was my family's heir. If I couldn't even handle this, how would I be able to manage my family's business empire? "Prepare some evidence. I'm planning on doing a live stream tomorrow to explain everything that has happened. If I waited for all of my injuries to heal before speaking out, it would be too late." Zach was an idiot, but his brother wasn't. I could tell that he was capable from his attempt to control public opinion. But it was no use. The next day, I got myself ready and started the live stream. Because of the buzz online, I had over 10,000 viewers. But the viewers weren't nice. The comments were full of insults. They were calling me a gigolo and telling me to die. I calmly ate an apple that Clara had peeled and waited for more people to join. Then, I said, "First, I'm not a homewrecker. Secondly, I don't think homewreckers should die." These two sentences instantly blew up the comments. Why shouldn't homewreckers die? He's defending homewreckers, and he says that he's not one. How hypocritical. I calmly took out the evidence. First, let me explain why I am not a homewrecker. Then I showed the police reports, the company videos, and the court documents. When I put all the evidence in front of the camera, the comments paused for a moment, and a different voice appeared. "Whoa, really? Then, this man was really framed? Official documents can't be fake, can they?" Looking at this, he really went through a lot. Then, Clara gave me another piece of apple. Her fingers were long and beautiful. As I was eating the apple, she went into the frame to say hello to everyone. Then, she explained what had happened from her point of view. Clara's appearance attracted more viewers. Her beauty was so captivating. "She's so beautiful. He sure is getting the best. Her face is definitely worthy of a scandal." Clara was so shocked that she moved away and just showed her phone screen, which contained the evidence that Zach was spreading lies. When people saw Zach's elaborate descriptions of his relationship with Clara, the comments changed again. Whoa, this guy just wrote a few stories and claimed that he was the girl's boyfriend and beat people up? If I had that courage, I would have gotten a girlfriend long ago. Don't be stupid, you'll end up in jail. I couldn't help but laugh. Then I got serious. I also said that I don't think homewreckers should die or be beaten up. Because of the reveal, people became much more tolerant of me. There was no more insults, and they were just curious why I would say that. I said, first, whether a person becomes a homewrecker depends on both people, not just one person. Many people, like me, are innocent or were deceived by their partner. That's why they became homewreckers. Things are complicated, but everyone just puts them into one category. They attack random people online. Thousands of years ago, there were witch hunts. Today, just call someone a homewrecker, and people can hurt them as much as they want. Isn't this another type of witch hunt? Today I'm lucky. I survived and I've proven that I'm innocent. But what if you're next? What if a stranger calls you a homewrecker, then points a pair of scissors at you? Would you want the people around you to shout that you should die? My questions caused silence in the live stream. A moment later, someone said, "You have a point. I think we do need to rethink this. We blindly attack people online without knowing the full story. How are we different from them?" In the future, I will not say anything until I know the whole story. I don't want to be used. The live stream was nearing the end. I looked at the camera with a relaxed smile and said, "As for Zach's brother, Alex Young, for bribing the nurses to take photos of my fiancé and me, and then posting them online and hiring trolls to attack us, I will not let this go. You wait for the court summons." When I said this, the viewers became excited again. Wow, the drama never ends. No wonder, the brother is just as messed up as the younger brother. He even dared to attack the victim online. Bro is so bold, he just said it in the live stream. Is this a challenge? I calmly finished eating the apple. No, this is an order to surrender. Then, I abruptly ended the live stream. I thought Alex would back down, but instead he not only didn't delete the video, but he posted more videos. He even posted photos of me during surgery. He said online that I used my power and wealth to pressure the court to convict Zach, and then he appealed. This time it wasn't just me, my family also got involved. Because the hospital was owned by us, it meant there was an internal issue. After an investigation, they fired the nurses and a doctor who had been bribed. My family lawyers had also collected evidence, so they immediately sued Alex. Alex was put in prison for invading online security and defamation. I saw Alex in court. He appeared like a respectable businessman, but as soon as he saw me, he called me a gigolo. But when the judge sentenced him to 3 years in prison, he started to cry and begged for Clara to see Zach and convince him to live a good life. He said that Zach had tried to kill himself 3 times. He had seen my live stream and realized that his dreams of the CEO falling for him had been shattered. He was so distraught that he had tried to kill himself again. I looked at Clara. She frowned. I don't want to see that disgusting thing. We didn't visit Zach and left him to suffer in prison. After some time, I went overseas to get plastic surgery. After recovering, Clara and I had a wedding. At the wedding, Clara said that she would love me forever, for better or for worse. And with applause and cheers, I kissed Clara.